Hey, this is JC. Welcome to Urban Knife Guy, where we explore the urban knife style and jungle survival. Today we're going to look at a tactical knife by Annihilate Knives by Zune Lotoo. I think this knife is one that Batman would carry. Nolan Batman, that is. First, if you watch this channel regularly but have not subscribed, please do so to help the channel out. And if you'd like to support the channel even more, do check out my shop links in the pinned comment or description below. You can even join as a channel member. Thanks a lot. First, a shout out to Zune Lotoo for sending me this knife. That's really difficult to say. For some reason, I find it a tongue twister. Zune Lotoo. So this is an Annihilate brand of knives. You get this nice black box. It's a good gift box. So, you know, I think it's good that if you want to buy a gift, you could actually get this and it looks good. And there's some packaging material inside as well. They call this the cross-border knife. Now, this is not in their Amazon link product description. This is really what I see on the box and in their instructions. All right, let's take it over here. There's the knife. You can see they've got some packaging, excellent. You got some tinder material that you can use. And then here you have a bit of the instructions. And now look over here. Here it says cross-border, but obviously that's a typo. Inside you see cross-border knife. And then you get all the different aspects of the knife and different features, which is pretty nice. But you don't have to look at this because I'm going to show you the knife right here. So this is the package. You get a nice Kydex sheath. This is 2mm Kydex, and I really appreciate that. It clicks in very nicely, and you get this kind of a tech lock, which you can press, open up, and you can put in your belt, put it on your belt or sling it in any kind of a system. Just note that this is about 1 inch. That closes up, and you can switch that so it's on the off position, so you can't press that open. It won't spring open unless you slide that to the side. All right, that's the tech lock. Personally, I find that this rides a bit high, meaning if you put this on your belt, this is going to be pretty high up, right above your belt. If you change to one of those clips where it drops down a bit, then at least for me, I think that's a bit more comfortable. But you get a very decent sheath and you get a very nice belt clip as well. All right, and let's deploy the knife. Now you can see why I called it a knife that Batman would carry. Just all those lines reminds you of the Batman logo and all this various texture on the handle. It's a bit like his bat gear or bat suit. All right, as mentioned, the Kydex sheath, 2mm, and it clicks in very well. So very secure fit. Again, now rattles just a bit. Now it will never come out. If you're someone who really is bothered by the rattle, I guess you could heat this yourself and just press it so it fits more snugly. But I've got no problem with that. All right, the knife itself, you can see very tactical looking. Maybe a bit deadly. Now this isn't really a bushcraft knife. They do market it as an outdoor knife, but a tactical knife. So I guess you can use it for tactical combat uses as well as outdoor survival if you need. It's a pretty decent size. So let's go through the specs first. The blade length is 5 inches long or 127 millimeters. The handle length is 4.5 inches long or 114 millimeters. And the overall length is 9.5 inches or 241 millimeters. Now this is pretty heavy because of the blade stock. It's 295 grams or 10.4 ounces. The blade thickness is 6 millimeters in terms of blade stock. But there's a distal taper. So that means it tapers from here towards the tip, and right the tip before the point, before the bevel to the point, that's 3 millimeters. The blade steel is D2, so that is a very hard and tough steel. The handle itself, G10, but it's molded, as you can see. It's got all this different texture. Now, initially when you hold it, you might feel a sense of, I won't call it uncomfortable, but you have to get used to all this kind of a texture. But after a while, you realize it actually fits very well in the hand. And I find that the shape actually is very good. Now, sometimes I don't like knives which swell out too much in the middle. Now, this swells out about 1 inch. However, because it only swells in the middle, kind of a Coke bottle look, it's actually very comfortable because you got narrow, swelled up, and then narrow here, so I can get a good grip even though I have medium or small to medium hands. And I'm sure if you have larger hands, you wouldn't have a problem. As you can see, there's still a lot of space. If you have extra large hands, yeah, maybe I can see a little finger going all the way up to here, but you really would need to have big, beefy hands for that. You can see the shape. This is a tanto style blade. There is a choil over here. That's kind of, I guess, more of a finger choice, so they can really choke up if you want. Now this tanto is very sharp. It can pierce, absolutely no problem. If you are to hold it in hammer grip or reverse grip and you want it to stab something, absolutely no problem in piercing. My only personal comment about this would be, I would prefer if there wasn't a recurve blade. Now there's a slight recurve for here and here, and personally I would just like straight lines for both, simply for the ease of sharpening. Now for this you need a slightly rounded sharpening stone so that you won't chip it around the corners as you sharpen. So it will make life a lot easier if it's just sharp. Sure, it may look cooler with a bit of a curve, but the curve is really, I would say it's not that apparent. I don't think it gives any functional use, but it makes sharpening a bit more of a hassle. So that would be my only point about this. But I admit it looks cool. If you want a knife that Batman would carry, definitely this is something you could deploy. So because of this tech lock, you could put it on your belt. Now you can also adjust this so they can turn this belt or tech lock loop or locking system around your belt 90 degrees, and you can scout carry it behind your back, or you can put it in the front for a cross draw. I think it's not too big, you could do that. You could also put this on a webbing if you have, or on a backpack strap. It can be upside down on your chest. So again, cross draw if you're right-handed, and you can pull it down like that. Now the company website has opened this up to show it's actually skeletonized inside, so that's pretty good. They even said that if you remove, or maybe if these break for whatever reason, you could use paracord and do a wrap handle. But honestly, I think this is pretty solid. Just takes a little while to get used to this, but you know, this is good in hand and good in gloves as well. Now it does have a glass breaker, or kind of a skull crusher over here, so that's very solid if you need to break or to pound something, so to, you know, smash something up. I think pretty good. So even though it's a pretty heavy knife for its size, it's very nimble. If you want a tactical knife, you definitely want one that's nimble, that you can maneuver and you can change grips easily. And of course, for outdoor purposes, you want this knife to be able to work. And definitely with this blade thickness and the shape, you can batten, you can do heavier tasks like that. Absolutely no problem. It will take a beating, and this is D2 steel as well. For finer work, also not a problem. It is pretty sharp, so you can do finer work. So in a sense, it is kind of your all-in-one tactical survival knife. So if you're looking for a knife that looks like this, basically it looks really cool. It's all blacked out with this sort of a black coating. You got a decent steel in terms of D2, and the price is still within the budget range for a fixed blade. I think this is a pretty good knife. Check out the link in the description to purchase this knife. Well, I'll just end off the video by comparing this knife with some other knives that I have. I don't really have many tactical knives, but just to give you a comparison, this might be the closest to a tactical knife that I have, and that's the Cold Steel SRK. Now this is carbon steel in SK5, completely different shape. I think the only thing that really matches is it's all black, and it's also designed for a tactical purpose, or kind of an all-round tactical and outdoor purpose. To compare it with, again, something that's completely unrelated, but something familiar to most of you guys, that's the Garbuck, so by Moranif. So I guess the only comparison I would say is it's full tang with an over-molded plastic handle. This is plastic, this is G10, this is also an exposed full tang, so again different, but just kind of get an idea of how it looks like compared to these very popular knives, and get an idea of the size. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you own this knife or any other knives by Annihilate Knives, do let me know your thoughts on them in the comments below. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you like the content in general, please subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.